Monica McNutt and Austin Rivers with us. And Austin, I will start with you. In the Eastern Conference, I'm giving you the Celtics or the field to make the finals. Which way you going?
Right now, I have to go with the Boston Celtics. They've been the best team in basketball all year long, especially if we're talking the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee's finally starting to tap into a groove. They have 2 big wins. Obviously, Joel Embiid's down. The Knicks are uncertain with their future in terms of Julius Randle and his shoulder. Right now, when you talk about a smooth team, best starting lineup in the Eastern Conference, Jason Tatum at the helm, Celtics are the team to beat.
I'm with you. It'd be a huge disappointment if they don't. Monica, let's go out west. Which super team do you trust, the Clippers or the Suns?
It's the Clippers for me, Greeny. And I know folks are going to say, oh, can they stay healthy? Well, let's just roll with what we've seen this year. And largely so far, they have been able to stay healthy. They have the best net rating in clutch time. Their ability to both score the basketball and defend, to me, they just are loaded up. It's the Clippers.
They're playing way better than I think many people realize, and to your point, they've been healthy all year. Then, Austin, we got both the Lakers and Warriors trending toward being in the play-in. Which of those 2 teams do you think is more dangerous if they make it into the field?
I think it's the Lakers. I mean, I look at the Warriors team and how they're put together, and it's just not the same. It's not as fluid. I know the Lakers have been up and down, but we're talking about a team that we just saw last year make a historic run from going from a team maybe getting into the playoffs to getting all the way to the conference finals. Don't ever count on LeBron James. Every time we do, he ends up doing something special. Anthony Davis is there. They've added a bunch of guards and players around them. I just think they're a better put together team. I trust the Lakers more.
I'm with that. I would side on that direction as well, but I would then be crossing Draymond Green, which no one wants to do. Speaking of the Warriors, here was Draymond. He had this to say regarding his team's outlook.
I 100% believe that we are legit title contenders this season. I don't see any team out there that we couldn't beat. Obviously, the cards got to fall in place. Obviously, a lot of things got to go your way. Obviously, you need some luck. That's just the nature of winning championships. But I don't see any team in the NBA that we can't beat and compete for a title. And mama, we still got that man.
They do, and he, of course, is spectacular. No one would ever question Steph at any stage, and he's playing as well as pretty much ever. But you made the point earlier. Could they beat anybody on a given night?
Absolutely.
Can they beat all these good teams in the West in a best of 7?
I have hesitations. Listen, Austin, you competed against Draymond. He has every right to be confident in his group. He's obviously been there. But I'm with you in terms of the construction of this team. I continue to kind of look at them and say, golly, this is a small group, and it requires so much of Steph. He had an off shooting night yesterday. Now, granted, the Nuggets are the Nuggets, but he can't afford to be off if this team is going to achieve anything in terms of what Draymond is discussing.
At the end of the day, Austin, the Warriors sort of made their legend by proving you don't have to have size to win, right? The death lineup that they had all those years, but there does come a point where they just do appear to be so small. At the end of the day, is that, in your view, is that to be their undoing?
It's definitely one of them, especially if we're talking about the best team in the West. Their best player is a center, so they just need size. If they're going to have to contend, they're going to need that. But I look at the makeup of this team. They have a different playing style now. You got to think, back in the day, the ball was just popping. Everybody was moving the ball. Now, some of their best players, I'll say their second best player is a guy who plays a little bit more traditional, a guy like Jonathan Kuminga. The makeup of this team is completely different. They got Klay Thompson coming off the bench. I know he's playing better. It's just not what I look at and see a contending team. I love Draymond's confidence. He's supposed to have that. This is a guy who's 1-4 to have that. But he said it himself. They're going to need a lot of luck, and they're going to need a lot of things to fall their way. I mean, it is what it is. And I love Steph Curry. But the amount of pressure and onus that's on his shoulders every single night to go out there and perform at such a high level, to ask him to beat a team, like, do I see them beating a Denver? Can they beat them 4 times out of 7 games? I just don't think so. And I don't think they beat the Clippers either. I think they even struggle with some of the other teams in the West that we have. I don't know if they beat the Suns. It's one of those things I look at, and I don't know if I look at their roster from top to bottom in terms of depth. They're just not the same. If we talk about compares to their championship teams, it's not there.
That's why I continue to say I want LeBron and Steph to team up before it's too late next season. I'm speaking it into existence. You'll both yell at me later. Let me leave it there. Each team needs to trade up to get a quarterback in the top 3 picks of the draft.
None of them. Like, we've never really seen it work in the history of the draft. We've seen guys or teams trade up to get a quarterback at like 10 for Mahomes or 32 for Lamar Jackson, but would you have to give up to get to the top of the draft, knowing that quarterbacks aren't a short thing? I don't think anyone should trade up that high, and no one's going to come off of Drake May or Caleb Williams, given how highly regarded they are as prospects.
Embo, do the research on that. I want those for radio. That's an interesting topic. How many teams have ever traded up that high and had it work? In the meantime, let's talk about a veteran. What are the chances in your mind that Russell Wilson will be someone's starting quarterback next season?
Yeah, I think 60, 65. I think we've harped on this very interesting point, is that he doesn't cost very much. He's going to probably sign for the league minimum because Denver is going to cover the rest of his enormous contract. And for a guy who is at least like mediocre, like last year he wasn't bad, he just wasn't as great as the contract suggested that he should be. So at this point, for $1 million, $1.5 million a year, I think Russell Wilson is going to step in and take over for somebody's team who needs a quarterback.
All right, let's hear from him, because Russell Wilson, and look, we've all understood for a long time, Russell has an unusual way of saying things, but he's talking about his future, and he seems to see it very differently than most other people seem to see it. Listen.
I got more fire than ever, honestly, especially over the past 2 years of what I've gone through, whether if it's in Denver or somewhere else. I hope it's in Denver. I committed there. I wanted to be there. I want to be there. For me, it's about winning. Over the next 5 years, I want to win 2. I want to feel the chill of that trophy again. I want to win more Super Bowls there. I love the city and everything else, but you also want to be a place that wants you too.
Look, there's nothing wrong with him saying that, right? Like that's the right thing for. Am I wrong? Is that the right thing?
There's nothing useful about it either. It's not. I mean, the last thing he said was you want to be somewhere where you want it. I mean,
right.
they benched him toward the end of the season. They're almost certainly going to release him by March 17th, when his 2025 salary is going to become fully guaranteed. So I don't think he's in a place that wants it.
Thoughts going through your mind with that look on your face, D. Wood?
Can we crawl before we walk, man? Like literally, the last time we saw Russell Wilson was benched.
Yes.
Like, he was benched. We've seen the Seattle Seahawks give up on him. We've seen the Denver Broncos give up on him. So, listen, I have no problem with having aspirations of, winning 2 out of the next 5. Okay, whatever. That's the way, that's the kind of stuff, he says. But, bro, can we get some stability in your playing career first before we start talking about hoisting Lombardi, 2 out of the next 5 Lombardi trophies? Let's get some stability in your game first.
It's worth pointing out that wherever he goes next year, that team is going to be able to get him for next to nothing. He is owed $39 million guaranteed dollars by the Denver Broncos, whether he plays or not, and anything he gets paid by any other team just offsets against that. But it does seem, I don't know, Neek, is he at a place in his career where if someone offers him the league minimum It's a strange juncture in his career that Russell finds himself in.
Yeah. No, I mean, he has an opportunity. I think that he was headed for all-time great status. His career was on that trajectory to be in those conversations in the Hall of Famer. And then he hit this major roadblock. So I think for his legacy and how much that matters to him, this next stop does really matter. And the contract situation helps him go to a team that has talent where he can succeed. But I think whenever you hear comments like this, you have to ask yourself, who are they trying to communicate to and what are they trying to communicate? And I think Russell's clearly trying to tell GMs and teams that you want to win a championship. I'm the guy. I'm locked in. I'm motivated. And I don't think he cares how we think about it. We all think it's kind of funny that he's talking about Lombardi trophies when he hasn't really had much success lately. But he's telling all the other teams that think they're a quarterback away that he's their guy.
He's going to be a fascinating one to watch. And